All right, so we are live. We have a few moments, let a few people join the stream, but thanks to those of you for tuning in. Those of you who are already tuning in, let us know where you're watching from today by leaving a comment in the comment section. I'm actually streaming from the museum, one of only 2 people here today in the office. We'll get started here in just a few minutes. Going to let a few other people join the stream, but let us know where you're watching from today. Leave a comment in the comments section. Thanks to those of you tuning in already. We'll get started here in about 1 minute. Let us know where you're watching from by writing it in the comment section down below. We're streaming live from Champaign County, Illinois today, I believe. If all of us live in Champaign County, correct? Dave. Oh, that's right, yeah. DeWitt County. Well, we're streaming live from Central Illinois. How about that?
We're global.
We're global, that's right. All over the place, all over Central Illinois.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and get started with today's program. So thank you so much for joining us today for another edition of Mornings with the Museum. My name is Patrick Kane. I work at the Museum of the Grand Prairie as the Public Programs and Visitor Services Coordinator, and I am joined by some fantastic friends within the Champaign County Museums Network, where we are going to hear from these folks, ask some questions, talk about their lovely institutions, their lovely work in just a few moments. But let's first learn who's with us today. So we're just going to go around and introduce ourselves and let us know, what institutions you are representing. My name is Pat Kane again. I work at the Museum of the Grand Prairie. We're part of the Champaign County Forest Preserve District, where I do the public programs and work within the education department. Perry, why don't you introduce yourself first?
I'm Perry Morris. I'm Vice President of the Champaign County History Museum in the Historic Cattle Bank, the oldest extant commercial building in the county. I can tell you a little bit more about myself if you like.
Sure, go for it, Perry.
Got myself a little hand in a lot of history-related things, both before and after being retired from the U of I. Got started way back when with the efforts to save the Orpheum Theater and turn it into the Children's Museum. Was with them for a long time. That got my interest and got me involved with the Museums Network and interest in museums in general. Let's see, I'm also involved with the Genealogical Society. My personal research is on local theater history. That's enough.
Barry Morris, our Renaissance man.
That's right.
Kim, how about you?
Okay. I'm Kim Sheehan. I'm the Assistant Director of Education at the Spurlock Museum, one of 4 museums on the U of I campus. And a little bit about me and what I do. I create and present programs at the museum, programs of all kinds. I'm in charge of our teaching collection. So if you're an educator and you want to borrow artifacts, I'm the person you call. And right now I'm spending a lot of time with social media. I'm doing storytelling programs. We're doing live cultural programs and all kinds of different entries and different series that we put on our Facebook page to help people learn about us as staff members and about other museums and other artifacts and other wonderful things that other museums are doing.
Thank you, Kim. Dave, how about you?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Dave Leake. I am the former director of the William M. Starkle Planetarium at Parkland College. I retired last July after 30 years of teaching physics and astronomy and doing shows for all the kids that came in. When you talk to people who are adults and tell you, hey, you did our show for us when I was in 2nd grade, then you figure, okay, it's probably about time to move on. So I'm involved in sky watching and one of the co-founders of the local Champaign-Urbana Astronomical Society.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave, Kim, and Perry again for joining us for this program, this Mornings with the Museum program. So if you've never joined us before on a Mornings with the Museum program, this is a weekly series that we've done for the past couple months since we've all been at home, working from home, where we have special guests on like we do today. Sometimes we also talk about some of our artifacts, some local stories, basically try to, have a nice little conversation each Wednesday morning about some pretty cool stuff within our community, whether it's local history related or some of our fantastic friends. I did want to encourage you to let us know where you're watching from again. Write it down in the comment section down below so we can see just how far this stream is reaching. Also, encourage you to share this stream so you can watch alongside your friends, make this more engaging, more fun for everyone. And to make it even more engaging, we would love to answer your questions. So down in that comment section below, feel free to ask us any questions. Any and all questions are welcome. If you have questions about our institutions, our work, local historical or science topics, our thoughts on the meaning of life, really anything, ask us a question. It will make it a lot more engaging for us and for you if we have a nice bit of questions to answer from you. So we encourage those questions, write those down below. Before we get into some questions for the group, I just want to promote a few things we're doing at the Museum of the Grand Prairie, a few upcoming events. So the museum is still closed. But Champaign County Forest Preserve District properties continue to be open for you to explore. So get out there and visit those forest preserves if you can within Champaign County. We're also doing, since we can't do in-person programs, doing many virtual summer camp videos, many virtual Museum Monday programs, a popular program we've done every single summer that we do on each Monday. So check out our Facebook and our social media pages for those videos to get some awesome hands-on activities that you can do at your home, even though you can't visit us at the museum. We got a program coming up next month, also part of our exhibit speaker series tied to our new exhibit on the suffrage movement and women's rights. It'll happen live on our Facebook page, just like this program is happening on July 19th, where Kristen Lems, who is a local historian, activist, and songwriter, will present songs and stories from the women's movement in Champaign-Urbana from 1973 to 1983. So check out more information about that program on our events page. You can find out everything about us by visiting our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even a YouTube and Goodreads page, and also museumofthegrandprairie.org and ccfpd.org. Okay, so I did want to just continue to remind folks, share the stream. For those of you who are just tuning in, let us know where you're watching from, and continue to ask us questions. Ask us your questions so we can answer them and make this a really engaging and fun program for everyone. So let's get with the first question for the group. So I know we introduced ourselves, talked a little bit about our institutions and some of our work, but I just wanted to see if each one of us could go around and talk a little bit more about our institutions, the work that you do. So I'll start. So I work again at the Museum of the Grand Prairie. We've been open since 1968. We opened as the Early American Museum, and our mission is to collect, preserve, and interpret the cultural and natural history of Champaign County and East Central Illinois. We used to be open almost every day of the year. Free museum for people to explore upstairs, downstairs, with local exhibits tied to our newest exhibit, tied to the women's suffrage movement, as I just mentioned. The Grand Prairie Stories, an exhibit about this area's history, an exhibit on Abraham Lincoln, and an awesome hands-on discovery room downstairs. My job at the museum, I'm the public programs coordinator. I plan a lot of our public events, not all of them. We work as a team quite a bit around here, work with a lot of other staff members to plan some public programs, but, plan some programs like, large festival type of events, lectures, concerts, children's programs, just trying to get people to come out to the museum. Also work with our front desk associates and our museum store, and try to promote the museum as much as possible, do a little bit of marketing to get people to come to our programs and come out to the museum. And we are, of course, a part of the Champaign County Forest Preserve District, also work a little bit with the district here in the county forest preserves. So that's a little bit about our institution, the work that we do. Let's start with Kim. You want to tell us a little bit more about Spurlock?
Sure. The Spurlock Museum has been in its present building, opened in 2002, but we started with museums that were on the fourth floor of Lincoln Hall, that started back in 1911. Pardon me. So we basically cover as much of the world as possible. We're a world cultures museum. And so if you come into our building when we reopen, there's feature galleries on Native Americans, North and South America, the ancient Greek and Roman cultures, Europe, Africa, ancient Egypt, ancient Mesopotamia, and Asia. And we have a temporary gallery area. The one thing that was up, or two things that were up when we closed down, one was In Her Closet, which is a temporary exhibit on local drag queens and drag queen culture in the area. And then we also have one on the African-American roots of blues dancing. So I know we're putting blues dancing, we're carrying that over into the spring. I don't know exactly what has been decided on a closing date for In Her Closet, but once we reopen, we hope to come see that. We also have an auditorium where we hold all kinds of special events, everything from films to lectures to performances. So lots of reasons to come and to come back.
Yeah, there's a lot to explore virtually, on Spurlock's Facebook page and, on your website as well too. Even though, our museums are closed, trying to do as much as we can to virtually reach the community. I know that's happening quite a bit at Spurlock. Doing some awesome stuff. Well, thank you, Kim.
Thanks.
Dave, what about you? I know you're not working at the planetarium anymore, but you want to tell us a little bit?
Sure. I can tell you that the Starkville Planetarium opened in the fall of 1987. They're the second largest planetarium in the state, second to Chicago. And underneath a 50-foot dome, there's over 120 seats, where we just not long ago put in a full dome video system, which means it's like turning the entire dome into a video frame. And we can put the night sky up there, and also other video features to take you to the space station, take you to different places on Earth. It's a wonderful place to go. Of course, with COVID, I was just informed, I guess the planetarium is going to be closed throughout the end of the calendar year. So hopefully they'll be reopening for the spring semester. Classes will still be able to use it, but given the way the seats are oriented and kind of have to go past other people to get to seats, I guess they figured that maybe just easier to do it this way. And we don't even know how many schools will be taking field trips this fall anyway. So, but it is a wonderful place. Once it reopens, it's a wonderful place to go with the whole family and check out the sky where you don't have to freeze or swat mosquitoes.
I've been to a couple shows in my lifetime there, and always had a really awesome time. And it's a really cool resource, right here in Champaign County that people need to get out there if they haven't been there in a while, or maybe they're new to the area. Get out there and check out for sure. Starkville Planetarium.
Yeah, we are at Parkland College. I guess I should say that too.
Parkland College. Dave, you've also worked with the Forest Preserve District on some things. Would you want to talk a little bit about the Dark Sky Initiative at Middle Fork?
Sure. Yeah, the CU Astronomical Society has been doing programs at the Forest Preserve since about 2007. But all the way back in 2001, the Dark Sky Association, which is international, got this Dark Sky Places program that they put out there to recognize spots across the globe that valued the night sky. It's like another resource. And we thought, well, why not here? So it took a little while for it to catch on, but I did a presentation for the Citizens Advisory Committee there at the Forest Preserve District, and they liked the idea. And so we put a proposal together, and Matt Kuntz out at Middle Fork gets a lot of credit because they redid all the lights out there. It's absolutely amazing. When they found out how expensive some of the lights were, they built their own light fixtures. I just find that phenomenal. And so it was about Thanksgiving in 2018 that we got the word that we were the very first, and so far only, dark sky park in the state of Illinois. So right here in our own backyards.
Good job.
Yeah, that's it's really cool to one thing that I've been doing, even though you can't really get out and visit some places, but you can virtually visit in a lot of ways. I like to check out on Facebook and on Instagram. I'll search Middle Fork River Forest Preserve, and a lot of people are posting astrophotography photos out there at Middle Fork, and it's really cool. It's a really cool thing that it seems to be taking off quite a bit, not just at Middle Fork, but around the world in general. But yeah.
I believe the campground, if I'm not mistaken, you can correct me, Pat, but I believe the campground just opened.
It did, yeah. Yeah.
You can go out, and even if you don't want to spend the whole night there, you can go out. I recommend going to the waterfowl management area, which is just north of the campground. Beautiful dark skies there. And we've actually measured that. They're the darkest skies in Champaign County. So you can go out and take that in, and you don't need to pay anything. You don't need a ticket. It's free.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people forget that, the sky, the dark night sky is also one of our, natural resources that we need to take care of for sure. And as you said, go visit, darkest spot in Champaign County out at Middle Fork River Forest Preserve if you haven't done so, or go out there again. Campground's open up to 50% capacity. So, go check it out, spend the night, even spend the weekend. Perry, what about you? You want to tell us a little bit about, I know, you introduced yourself and said you have your hands in quite a few pies, but you want to tell us a little bit about some of the institutions that you work with.
The Champaign County History Museum got its start back in the early 1970s in the Wilbur Mansion on University Avenue in Champaign. We still get a lot of people telling us about fond memories they had about visiting there and programs for kids. The mansion kind of got a little more than the group could handle, so they decided to put it up for sale. And the collection was actually in storage for a few years until they located the availability of the cattle bank, and then moved in there. They had great exhibits in there for until 2015. And honestly, the the board was getting a little elderly, shall we say. And I was the youngest board member in my early 60s. So if that gives you an idea. So it was when we kind of got to recruiting some younger folks to get involved and regenerated ourselves. We reopened then later in 2015 with all new exhibits. We redid, ripped up the carpet, put down new floors, and changed the lighting, did all kinds of stuff. We've still got up the When We Went to War exhibit. That is very popular. It's about World War II. It focuses more on what was happening here in Champaign County than what was happening on the battlefields. We have another gallery that the intention is to trade out different topics. It's basically going to keep the same layout, but we'll change the focus every 6 months or so. Don't hold us to that though. But when we closed, that was on the Great Harris Mansion heist that took place about 90 years ago. One of the local society parties got infiltrated by I can't think of one of the terms, colorful terms they used for the holdup guys back in the day, but they didn't exactly force themselves in. They kind of tricked themselves in and stole several $1,000s worth of goods, but they were caught almost immediately. And we were working, when we closed, we were working on an exhibit on the Illinois traction system, which is sort of related to the local streetcar system, but it's not the same thing. The traction system covered a good part of the state. William McKinley was the one that grew it to its greatness, shall we say. And it actually was the beginning of the Illinois Power and Light Company that we all still know today as Ameren. Let's see. We've got a small exhibit that we have upstairs. We've tried to keep most of the major exhibits downstairs. We do have a chairlift, but it's easier for visitors with any mobility issues to see the stuff downstairs. So we've tried to limit what we have upstairs, but you can get up to it. And that's still got an exhibit on Louise Woodruff, a rather eccentric local artist. Was a fun lady. Let's see. We're trying to get now that we can't have visitors yet. We've been trying to figure out how we can get more stuff online, but haven't got anything really up and going yet. We used to do historic walking tours every year, usually in conjunction with Taste of Champaign. We're working to get those put online. And I had just created one last year for downtown Urbana that we're also going to be getting online.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks, Barry. I mean, the Champaign County History Museum, the museum itself is located in a historic artifact, at the Cattle Bank, and a lot of history in that building, especially, with all the exhibits that you mentioned also. So thanks, Perry. Got some folks watching. Barb's watching from downtown Champaign, working from home. We know Barb, our museum's director. Katie's watching from Urbana. Another member of the Champaign County Museums Network wrote in, said watching from downtown Champaign. And we did get a question too. Nike Atterbury asks, this question may be for Perry. I think could answer this question best. If you can, you don't have to, but what are the plausible and best hopes for the Orpheum now that the Children's Museum is closing? Do you have any answer to that question, Perry?
I could maybe say something personal. I can't say anything official because I don't really know. Um, I personally, because I'm so interested in local theater history, I would like to see it go to some kind of arts center. People would have to get on board, of course, because it's not a cheap proposition, which was one of the issues that the Children's Museum had. I'm really, really, really optimistic that both the Kids Museum and the building itself are going to rebloom, shall we say, create themselves anew.
Yeah, we were all really sad when we saw that news last week. One of our member institutions here in the Champaign County Museums Network. And as you said, I hope that they can, rebloom, find a new future, and still exist here in Champaign County. We shall see. But I went there as a kid, a whole bunch. Used to go there. Grandpa would take my brother and I around to a whole bunch of spots here in the county. We grew up in Rantoul, but we would come to Champaign and do a whole bunch of stuff too, and visited there a lot as a kid. So miss that place. But yeah, hope that they can, find something new elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, the museum itself grew out of rescuing the historic building that was about to be torn down to make way for a parking lot. So, I mean, it reimagined itself once, it can do it again.
Yeah, that's right. Do it one more time. So we just got a couple minutes left, and I know that we've got, some other things going on. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but real quick, did each one of you, some of us have already mentioned this a little bit, but did you want to let us know, quick plans for the future? What are you working on right now? And Dave, did you want to mention anything that you're working on right now? I know you're retired, but you got anything in the works? Want to let us know what you're currently working on?
Still busy practicing a lot of guitar, doing that. We'd love to have we've talked to the Forest Preserve District about maybe having a major star party out at the Middle Fork this fall. So now obviously that work's been put on hold with the COVID incidents, but maybe we can get back on that, and we'll see how things are opened up by then. But that'll take a little bit of work to do that. Plus just trying to get outside as often as I can.
Yep. Star party would be cool for sure. Would be really awesome to bring to Central Illinois. Kim, what about you?
Right now, I am in the middle of trying to help those performers who were supposed to be performing at special events at the museum over this time when we've been closed. So we were putting together videos, for example, of participants from our In Her Closet exhibit, having them interviewed in terms of their participation. Why did they pick the objects they picked to loan, that kind of thing. And then also a couple people who are supposed to be part of our World Fest performance program, special event, they're going to be making videos that we can put on our Facebook as well. And a lot of us are at home doing the things that we wished we'd had time to do when we were busy and open and all that. So I'm doing really tedious things like putting databases together and cleaning things up, but there are things that needed to be done, and I'm really glad that I have the time. It's just a bad way to have that time.
Doing a lot of that myself too, working on some things that were on the back burner for a long time. But Kim's also, she's doing some really awesome storytelling on the Spurlock Museum page. So right after you hop off here, jump over to the Spurlock Museum page at 11:15. That's correct. It's at 11:15, right, Kim?
11:15 to 11:45 Wednesdays and Friday mornings on the Spurlock page.
Yeah. So hop over there. Here's some awesome stories from Kim. Really good storyteller. Perry, what about you? What are you working on?
Well, actually, when I had to start staying at home more, I thought I was going to have the opportunity to do a lot of work on my my webpage, cutheaterhistory.com. where I've been trying to share all the research on local theater history I've been doing for 20, 30 years. Wasn't able to put it quite as much in as that as I'd hoped. But I still want to get working on that, and I might be able to create 1 or 2 or 3 of the tours or online tours for the History Museum out of some of my theater research.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, that's about the end of the time that we got today. I don't want to take up too much more time, but I want to thank you all, for joining us this morning, taking a little bit of time out of your day for this Mornings with the Museum program. I want to thank everybody who's watching as well too. Appreciate, got a question as well too. Appreciate the question. And even though, these awesome local institutions within the Champaign County Museums Network, we may not have our doors open. There's a lot that you can do virtually, whether it's the Starkville Planetarium, Spurlock Museum, or Champaign County History Museum, or Museum of the Grand Prairie. Check out these places online. Check out, their social media pages. Try to find them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then also, find the Champaign County Museums Network, our website. And then also, we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Learn a little bit more about the awesome resources here in Champaign County, where we're trying to excite, engage, and empower and educate our local community through our awesome local museums, nature centers, planetarium, archives, and a whole bunch more. But again, thanks everybody. Thanks to our special guests for joining us, Dave, Perry, and Kim. And thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next week. Stay safe, stay well, and until next time.
Bye, everybody.